Good morning.
Morning, Eric.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
This is where we fix the nation, one conversation at a time.
Yeah.
This one, marginalization, that lens, to see whether it has made sense so far. But to welcome you to the conversation, good girl Jano, we call her Jano Wama Quotes, because she comes up with quotes every day.
Merch coming soon.
Is that like a thing? Because I've seen
Yes.
it's always.
Yes.
And I think the same thing with this other studio. Not the name.
Quotes are important.
Quotes are important.
Yeah.
Ni cha muhimu. Albie Sachs was appointed by Nelson Mandela years ago and served in the first constitutional court in South Africa. And he was a very big proponent of democracy and ensuring that the constitution worked for the people of South Africa. And he said the constitution is a text for the people, not a code for lawyers. That's what he said. What do you make of what he said? It's a text for the people, not a code for lawyers.
I mean, pretty much means, or how I view it, is that the people come first. And regardless of the law and how it's interpreted, the priority is always the people. And I think it hints even towards our constitution where, the people shall, and it's always about the people first. So I think that's pretty much how I view it. Yeah.
Yes.
It's a good one, right?
It is.
It's always focusing on, like, our constitution starts with we the people. Give ourselves this constitution, right? All sovereign power belongs to the people. And like Professor Kivuda Kibona was telling us yesterday, the centrality of the citizen is one of the key things about our constitution.
Yeah.
Very true.
Everything is centered on the citizen. Mheshimiwa, if you look at the constitution now, 15 years down the road, and like I started by saying, we started by acknowledging that there are parts of this country, parts of our society that are marginalized. And we said we are going to do everything that we can to make sure that we bring them up to par. By making sure, first of all, there's regional balance in job appointments, by making sure that we have money that goes into these areas to develop the counties, like devolution is, and so on and so forth. Do you think it has worked so far?
I think if I look at how the constitution is structured and pretty much the views and what the drafters of the constitution had in mind, I think it was very, very viable, should have been very strategic if it worked the way it was intended to. So the gains of the constitution definitely cannot be ignored. We've come so far as a country, and the idea is that the regions that have been lagging behind, how exactly can we bring them up to par? So the discussion is not whether the Katiba has worked for us. The discussion is all about how have we handled it and how have we benefited or taken the opportunity and run with it, in the sense that power no longer belongs to just a few people at the top, but now, it goes everywhere. So for me, I am a big proponent of the Constitution. I mean, I'm seated here because of, the Constitution itself. So to sit here and say, we've not done, no. The argument is different. The argument is how have we benefited or utilized the opportunity that we've been given as marginalized communities.
And how have you? How would you speak to that? From your observation, even speaking to the fact that if it weren't for this Katiba, you wouldn't be here. So speak to maybe how it's worked, but also speak to what it's getting wrong when it comes to, I think, Article 56, which talks about affirmative action. It speaks directly to integrating everyone. So from your lens, what has it gotten right, but what does it continue to get wrong on the implementation of it?
I mean, before 2010, just general example of, for example, the county that I come from, which is Garissa County. Before 2010, we had a few MPs, members of parliament, who would go to parliament and represent us. Then roads were almost inexistent. Schools were almost inexistent. I mean, a few schools here and there because of, the proposal of the CDF by the Kibaki government at that time, which did a few things here and there. But if you went there, a lot of Kenyans from that side of the country would tell you, we are going to Kenya. I mean, as soon as they cross that bridge, they tell you, we are going to tunaenda Kenya. To mean they have been so marginalized and pushed to the periphery, they no longer consider themselves as part of the country. So the proposal and the constitution brought in a bit of sort of like independence, where you're told, You govern yourselves. Here is the money. Do whatever. And, data and numbers don't lie. From 1963 until the Constitution itself, the resources that were deployed in these counties, marginalized counties, compared to what came in from 2010, and this is something I keep saying whenever I'm discussing issues of, the Constitution and all that, is not even a fraction of it. And we've received so much money as counties, and we've done nothing, almost nothing. I mean, development is almost inexistent. But evidently, you see the demagogues that have been created by this, which then means you are arguing that, we are marginalized. There's Kitambo, it was the Mutukufu Rais, president comes, I want a road here, you get a road. But now you can decide whether you want a road here, you can decide whether you want a hospital here, but we still don't do it. So it comes down to how exactly do we take the representation power that we've been given as a people, because there are countries that are still struggling to reach where we are. Kenya has gone so far in terms of democracy. We have the democracy at the ballot where you choose who can take you there. But in our regions, then we ended up having sort of like gaps and disadvantages. And here is where you hear terms like negotiated democracy and a few elders sitting at the table, where other regions, party politics take center stage. Yeah. In our areas, it's a negotiated democracy, which ends up giving you the worst crop of people to come and take leadership. For example, when the Constitution, when the whole constitutional change happened in 2013 and the first elections were happening, there was a real scramble, because at that time, if you look at the crop of people who ran for office, especially from this region, and I think it would be the same across, was the best of the best. Until the first elections happened, and people realized, you know what? There's so much money. These people are getting money. So the whole conversation now changed into how best can you get there, depending on the weight of your pockets. So the professionals, the technocrats, the experts were pushed outside. Right. And I would say the worst crop of people took center stage. So whoever is running for office or presenting themselves is the worst of the worst. Then you end up having the same kind of leadership across. Because for a county like Garissa, we've received close to 90 billion as at now. If this,
since 2013.
Since 2013. But if you visit the same county, other than the cosmopolitan area, you would struggle to understand what exactly have we achieved with devolution. And it, personally, for somebody like me, I am always very angry. And I think for my age, it's not good. But I am always angry because I'm like, what is happening? What kind of leadership are we having? You would find a mother not able, maternal health care, if you look at it, women are not getting to term with their pregnancies because of the poor facilities that we have. The roads, at some point, I can't go home because if the weather changes, I'll have to rearrange my schedules. And I could easily say, we are marginalized, but are we? I don't think we are. When, of course, when other parts of the country were having their second or third opportunities in economic liberations, marginalized counties were taking the first bite. But again, the amount of money that has been channeled was enough to put you at least at par, or maybe close to it, and that would have helped us achieve what the counties, what the devolution had in mind. But what we are having is
not quite.
Not quite. So for me, I still argue the concept is good. The implementation also not bad, but it comes down to the decisions they make at the ballot.
The people. Give context, because I know for a lot of our viewers, they're not familiar with negotiated democracy.
Correct.
They don't know how much clan politics influences the politics of northern Kenya as a whole, actually. Just give us context.
For example, pick a county like...
let me say Wajir.
Yeah, but just to give context, pick a county like the Luo Nyanza counties. Kisumu County, for example. If you get an ODM ticket at the party primaries, automatically you've generally won the election. In our areas, whether you have ODM ticket, or whether you have, in fact, parties align with the elders' decision. They wait, what have Wazes in Wajir decided, then the strategic party would come and award their party tickets to that particular lineup. That in Garissa 2017, we had Jubilee from top, the governor position, down to the MCA. That's because Jubilee was very strategic. They decided, why do we have to struggle? Wacha watu wapangane, then we come and give them the party. So because of that decision, a lot of injustices happen at that level. And this is where I say it's sort of like, I don't know if there's a term like that, but sort of like internalized. We marginalize ourselves again.
Marginalization.
Because I mean, borrowing from how they discuss the topic of misogyny and everything. But I think that is a problem that we have. I'm not beating my drums, but I would say, if today, going by the way things are done, of course I'm running for office, but I would not have started with the office I've chosen. I would have actually gone for governor, because I think there's so many things I could make a difference. But again, I know how things are structured, and with the politics back at home, you have to be realistic and just look at things the way they happen. If Clan A decides we are going with this alignment, and this was decide Eric in Nairobi will become our governor, then we will choose Mariam to come and be our senator. Imagine that's how it will be. And there's nothing you can do about it. So you can't beat the system. But the best approach towards now the whole negotiated democracy would be, at least present us with the best crop of people. Don't give me Umi when Umi has a history of doing a lot of nothing, or a lot of injustices or corrupt issues.
Or bring Eric from Nairobi, who has not even been in the county.
That is
county
it.
To understand
and
the
you know,
issues.
it happens. You would find, in fact, we've had political profiteers where towards the election period, you would find a Minnesota person thinking, Mandera, I can be a senator because you have some 60, 70 million lying in your account. You come and splash out on the ground, and the elders, everybody aligns with you. And that's how you win and you end up electing somebody who's not in touch with the ground.
Right.
And
probably hasn't lived here in maybe 10 years.
No lived experience.
And then go back to Minnesota.
And then go back there.
And they say, I've made change.
And they would actually have their meetings there. And that's essentially how it is. So
the Minnesota County Assembly.
It happens. We have leaders being elected who are not in touch with the ground. But you can't fault them because their clan gives them the opportunity. If you come from a majority clan, you decide what to do. And I like the young people. We are trying, I'm trying to see, especially the last wave of elections and how we did our representation. There's a crop of young people who are actually changing the narrative. Whether they are aware or not, I really want to encourage them to keep at it, because anytime they, for example, the experience I've had with young people in my county is they don't give a hoot about which clan you come from. And that has actually tipped the vote in a few of the seats that, had a few leaders coming in where people sat down and said, na huyu alitoka wapi? It's because the youth vote came in very strongly. And in the next two cycles of I'm very hopeful. The next two cycles of elections will really do a number on these elders, because it will change the narrative. And the best way, and what I keep doing in my platforms, is a civic education. Go beyond your clans. These things don't matter. If I cut you open and the blood flows, nobody will know your Ogaden or your, whichever clan. Those things don't matter. So the change, again, lies down with us leaders, but we like to maintain the status quo because we benefit the most as politicians.
It's given a whole education.
She really has.
Yeah. I was just going to say, you said, had you known from the beginning, you would have maybe even pushed for a gubernatorial seat. And then you've also said that, there's young people who are beginning to topple. So what are the factors that need to come together ahead of 2027? For example, right now, would you say, I'm confident, right now I would vie for the gubernatorial seat, or You're like, I don't know that we're there yet, that will be ready in 2027. How do you place the readiness for yourself, the ground, the young people, and the status quo? And how do you feel about 2027?
Janet, do you have 200 million to give me?
200 million.
You might attend. 200 million.
That is it. I mean,
What?
It all comes down to money and the numbers.
Yeah.
So I'm a very realistic person. Again, I'm very hopeful. I have to be realistic with myself. The change sometimes I need to see in our counties starts with me. So I would best serve as a woman representative, gain the political connection and the muscle, then fight for that space. And I draw a lot of my inspiration from Honorable Nesula Lesuda, Gladys Wanga. They both come from societies that are very patriarchal, but they knew their place in politics. And this is very important, especially as a woman. And a lot of feminists might disagree, but the place of a woman in politics is always the same. You never come at the top of the discussions when these things are happening. Political parties have to make deliberate decisions to anchor you there. The case of Homa Bay was that ODM made a deliberate decision. Without that, Honorable Gladys Wanga would not have been where she is today, because exploring the county seat is a very, very tough seat, especially a seat like the governor seat. And you know, she was up there with the CS Mbadi at that time. I was within the party structure, so I saw everything that was happening. And I really liked that. That's the only way to anchor women into political positions, deliberate decisions. Political parties supporting women to reach there. And it's, you know, one of the visions of the Constitution itself. Then when it comes to regions like ours, money takes center stage. And without that, even if you're providing them with the best of the best proposals, your taps will run milk and everything you could do, nobody cares. It all comes down to money. So money, again, is the evil, the root of all evil everywhere. But in politics, it's the biggest devil that we have. So for me, I think and I like to be realistic, like I said, I believe I have the best ideas that can really transform, especially my county. But I'd rather start small with the women rep seat, where I can be able to show the public that there's some things that you can make a change. For example, I don't like how NGAF money is utilized, where it's sort of like NGO structured. Like, I mean, Janet, you've been in that space, you would know how you give out umbrellas and they put the biggest logos, but
it's
they need
almost like a donation.
It's like a donation.
Yes,
it never makes sense, because from areas that we come from, we have so much need that this money could make a difference. For small scale mothers, a lot of mothers in our areas are into, you would be surprised, they do a lot of farming. We are pastoralists in nature, but due to how the climate change and the whole discussion, pastoralists have now tried and moved away from full-time pastoralism, integrating that with a bit of farming, a bit of business here and there. A boost in terms of value addition would go a long way. But I was very embarrassed when I saw, I think my county government did an exhibition, and they were parading products that they did not contribute to.
Wow.
These are farmers who did their best to come up, raise that money. Farmers keep telling county governments that we have challenges of, we need extra motors to pump the water for us. It costs 1 million. Or we need some grass during the drought season, where we can be able to, instead of going far away to look for pasture, we can be able to just stay within, so that our children also remain in school. Because with pastoralism, then it affects the retention of children in school. If drought comes, families move. County governments could make deliberate efforts and provide them with water and pasture. It's so easy. Do you know the machine that makes the grass into hay and bale. It doesn't even cost $10,000.
Let's come back and talk about that, just how to keep that retention and the tools, because that also just affects how our county can also grow. But we are going into a break. It's coming up to 7:30. We have the nominated MP, Umulkher Harun. Katiba at 15, the marginalization perspective. You can send your questions and thoughts. I can see 1 or 2 coming in. We'll pose them to her in just a few moments when we're back. Right. Paul Miner, aka Staki Mapepe on YouTube says, good morning, Mariam, Janet, Eric. I like Umi's line of thoughts. I hope she's inspiring young women, especially from marginalized areas. Jeremy Martin has just sent this comment. Amazing conversation. Greetings, Mheshimiwa. How can we make deliberate efforts to change the electorate's mentality? And what is the roadmap to eliminating the money factor in our politics? We can come back and ask her that in just a moment. And finally, Bakari Sagna is saying, what is the solution for minority clans in Mandera, Wajir, Garissa, and Marsabit?
Right. So there's 2 fixes needed there. And I was even going to ask, there's one from the clan perspective. Is it a matter of accepting this is how we operate? So then how do we operate within? How do we...
This is our democracy. How do we make it
how do we
work
make it
best
work
for us?
Yes. Is it that? Or is it trying to shift then to whatever is considered standard
or is it
democracy?
Dismantling that?
Yeah.
And what would
elsewhere.
that entail?
What would that entail? That's number one. The other one is how to now fix the electorate. Fix, and I use that very loosely, but yes, change the mind of the electorate and the thinking into just thinking, yeah, this is a comrade, not a comrade, this is a candidate I can get behind solidly because I like what they're saying.
I think early this year I was attending that peace forum in Germany. I forgot it has a name, and I met a young lady, 25 years old, who's a member of parliament in her country, regardless, a very small country, but still elected at that age. So I asked her, how did you get elected at this age? And she said, I just asked people to vote for me, and I said, how much money did you use? And she straight up looked at me and said 100,000. 100,000 shillings. And I said, you can't be serious. He said, yeah, Umi, I spent 100,000 just printing my flyers and giving out to people, and the fuel money that I used to move from my house to the meeting points.
And they won the seat?
Yeah, she's currently serving. And I said, you know what? Do you know in one of my counties and where I come from, there's a member who spent 150 million shillings to get elected. And she said, could you tell me that in pounds? And I said, yeah, I could. I converted it, and she was so shocked. She's like,
why?
Why? And trying to explain it to her actually painted the problem that we have.
Yeah, we explain it.
A lot of times...
Because we are so done, we know.
A lot of times, Eric, you know, Kenyans are very interesting people. They sit and criticize corruption. Kwanza, if it's a corruption ya mheshimiwa, they criticize it. Oh, this person is corrupt. This person is like this. These leaders steal our money. But do you know the leaders are representatives of the common mwananchi? If any of you drives to the nearest petrol station and they recognize you, Janet, watakwambia Janet niwachie ka lunch. That's corruption. That's how it starts. It's a small level of corruption, but regardless, it is.
Njaa leo ni kubwa, Janet.
Njaa leo ni kubwa. Mkubwa baridi na nipiga. You know? And then you go to the normal barabaras, and then you meet security guards. They tell you, niwachie ka kitu. But do you know what I'm bringing in my car? You've not checked. I could be carrying anything, but you've been hired there by your employer, and you're just letting anybody in. And that's how it starts, and it goes up. So it's definitely trickling from top to down, and also going from the bottom up to the top. And that's how corruption works. But we are quick to rush and look at the corruption of politicians. Granted, it has more damage, but given the opportunity, would you make a difference? And I think it's just a chance for a few who never got the chance to steal, but when they get there, they would be the same.
You know what, Umi?
Yeah.
We've had this, we keep having this kind of debates all the time. The thing of kula kwa so and so and kura kwa, and I'm always saying, don't kula from
Anywhere.
There's ati wakileta chukueni lakini mpigie mtu mwingine.
But mbona inaletwa to start with?
So who initiates this thing? Always the blame is that the candidate is the one who will come and want to entice the voter with the money. Is that the case, or is it the voter who is demanding?
When I sit here, I have served in two different worlds. I have served as a community activist, civil society person, and then transitioned to politics. The first meeting I did as a politician, and I walked out without giving money, rumors were flying. Mheshimiwa hana kakitu.
Wow.
I mean, sure.
Okay, but when you present yourself, and I try to, this is what I keep telling young people, let us be the people that bring change, but it will take time because that's how the system is designed.
So,
if you are a member and
play?
you, for example, now I'm a Mheshimiwa, I go to a meeting, when I call my people, they expect something. If I don't, it will be forced out of me, because that's how things are designed. Inflation has been created across all sectors. The NGO sector has created inflation. The political class have created inflation. And that's because it's a demand, sort of like a... Ni kama biashara.
Yeah. It's transactional.
It's transactional. And I don't know where we lost the plot. I actually don't know where we lost the plot, but in a way, there's discussions on CDF and GAF being removed. I'm kind of aligned to it because I think the Constitution has a clear guideline for what a member of parliament should do: legislate, oversight, represent. If I'm doing these three things, nobody would come and assume I have their money. And now the biggest fault that members have is when somebody looks at me and sees, this MP has been given this amount of money by Treasury. Mimi, the villager, do you think I would know this money is meant for school fees or kujenga schools or police stations? No, they would know that is their money. And they'll bring you hospital bills, and they'll bring you harambes, and they'll bring you all this. So in a way, I liked what the president and my party leader were proposing a few weeks back. Could be that is a direction we should take, but then we make sure that systems are working. Because without systems working, the MP is the first line of defense at the constituency stage before it reaches the president. So if schools don't exist, the MPs will feel the pinch. And I think that's why CDF came in the first place. But over the years, it has brought in such a disparity and such a skewed perception with wananchi that this money belongs to them, where you now get to be harassed if ABCD doesn't work out. So it's a very interesting position, but that's how it is. And as long as things remain the same, we might not go far.
It's like damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Damned if you don't.
And it's our national politics. I'm trying to now zero in on the more marginalized counties, which now have these problems, as we've spoken to, and those they exist across. And then now there's the added factor of now the marginalization, the lack of resource, all the years of injustice building, you know, all of that. And then I'm trying to see like the fixes. And I'll start with the one I had asked about how to shift. Do we accept clan politics as is and figure out how to make it work now? Sort of tweak democracy and say, you know what, I'm in Garissa, I'm in Wajir, I'm in Mandera, it is what it is. I have to figure out a way to make the clan see that Umi is the best candidate for governor. Or do we try and now shift that whole system?
Like I said, eventually it will end with the newer generations coming in. I have so much hope because I've seen results in my county, and I actually want to applaud youth from Garissa, Wajir, Mandera, and these marginalized areas. We've not fed into the rhetoric, but we still have a few years to the ballot, the cycle of election, the next one. The best proposal, and what I always think is, if you can't beat them, join them. Negotiate, make the table busy. If we are missing from that table itself, where young people are not showing up, you see what happens is, you go as young people to declare whichever seats you go for. There are other people with money that also declare. But if you become an evident threat, you come to the table and you might end up being considered. But the threat has always been that we've accepted wazee wataamua, so nobody shows up.
Okay.
But the trends I'm seeing with young people is they've accepted it. This is how things are done. Let's go to the ballot. In the last elections, there was a young man who ran for Senate, and he got 21,000 votes. Of course, he didn't win, but he showed up. And I think that was a very big encouragement. If you look at the MCA seat also, what is happening right now, there are very many young MCA ladies from a region, a county that has never elected one single woman MCA. It's a big change. And I sat down and I counted, there are around 7 young women who've come up as MCAs and said, you know what, Umi, we're going to the ballot. They are showing up. So by the time wazees and elders are making decisions, there's a young woman who's a headache here. They have to sit down with her. Wewe subaki tukupatie ama, you know, it's something.
They have to integrate her.
They have to integrate her. And I think it's very good that we show up at the table than not showing up totally. So if you can't beat them, join them. It will take long to change the system. It's a system of money. It's a game of numbers, game of strength. But just be there.
Are the wazees changing? You see, there's a new generation of wazees that's coming in. Are they changing in terms of their perception and thinking and expectation? Such that maybe the older wazees were just looking at, well, this is our leader, this is our leadership, there will be men.
But Eric, I wouldn't even fault the wazees also that much, because there's also the gap of literacy. Because clan dynamics and also our culture reflect a lot in our day-to-day life. And wazees do things because that's how we do. There was a time I had a certain issue and I could never go to the courts, but I decided to go with the wazees because that's where best the answer could come from. And fortunately, even in conflict, the Constitution allows us to use ADR. These ADRs in our areas are done by wazees. So for them, it's how they used to do things, and then politics and devolution found them, they continue doing things the way, you know. So for me, the more you give them that civic education, the more the young generation integrate with the older generation, I see a lot of improvement. And definitely, we might have a big change. If this election comes up, we might have a deputy governor who's a woman. I'm hopeful. All these young women who are running will not be in vain.
Okay, we have a caller. Sorry, I'm trying to get the name. Okay, he's from Garissa. Remind me the name again, Jackson? Ridge. Ridge from Garissa is calling in. Good morning. Do you have a question or comment from Heshimiwa today?
Thank you, Janet, Mariam, and Mushim. And after Rage, that's why I gave the lady the Ridge.
Rage. Samahani, Rage. Okay, apologies for that. Please go ahead.
First of all, it is a good show.
Thank you.
And that lady sitting there is also our aspiring Garissa Women Rep in 2027. And, you know, we, the young people from Garissa, we are the ones who are forcing this lady to stand for that, because we have mortgaged our future for a very long time. Politicians come from Nairobi with small money and they buy our future. We have suffered a lot. It's a young lady, 29 years old, so you don't expect her to be a millionaire. And she was raised by a teacher. She was raised on a TSC payslip. So we know that she doesn't have much money to bribe us. But we like her idea. She has a plan to change our life and to uplift us from the yoke of poverty. So that's why we are behind her. And we are telling her we are 100% behind her candidature. And we will vote for her 100%. And we are 100% sure that she is going to be the voice of the young people. And that's why I normally ask the young people to abandon this politics of money and to rally behind leaders with progressive ideas like Omni. I really, really support her candidature, and we will vote for her. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you, Rake. Thank you so much.
Wow.
It's an endorsement right there.
Yeah, that is a great endorsement.
But that's what I was telling you. There's a shift in how young people view things. And I like that direction. And I think not just in our counties, but across. It's happening everywhere.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have something. I wanted to come back and ask.
There's a question here from...
Yes, from Abdullahi Abdi. Before I come back and ask about the internalization of the Constitution, even in Garissa, even with your constituents, is there like an internalization and understanding? But first, Abdullahi Abdi is saying, I'm Abdullahi Abdi, or Lenga, from Garissa County. My question goes to Honorable Umulkher Harun. We have a challenge with the proper utilization of NGAF funds. As the potential next woman rep, how do you utilize it, or how you utilize it?
How would you
utilize it?
Okay. I think I had a line of thought earlier, got interrupted. NGAF is very underwhelming in terms of how it has reflected. I'll take the example of my county. And we give out things, or the way NGAF money reflects in how it's used. I don't think we are getting... Because
value for money.
We are not, because they're different. The whole point of this money is to support the most vulnerable. And a lot of the times you find it taking political directions where if you support me, you get it. If you don't support me, you don't get it. And that's very unfortunate. Young people have businesses. Young people have, what is it called? Utilization for that money, and it's not, a lot of people look at NGAF and say it's small money, but again, it's money. It's money. It can do something. 100,000 given to women groups is a big thing. If you look at the activities that happen in our counties, the deras that come to Nairobi, do you know Wamama in Garissa make that in their houses? Same, the tie and dye. It happens in all these other counties where mothers have farms where small boost in terms of giving them pesa kidogo, they can be able to buy some machines here, they can be able to, value addition is also a thing. We have mothers who are making milk. There's a group I supported in Madogash who are making yogurt from camel milk. Camel milk yogurt. Camel milk yogurt, and they make it in the house. There's a group in Bulaiftin who are also making the same dairy products, value addition. But the vision is not there. It has stuck with kupeana umbrellas, kupeana ndo, and there's a day I saw, not necessarily my county, branded, but I saw a donation of NGAF. What is it called? Jiko, and there were like 10 jikos, and I was racking my head. I'm like, umepatia mama jiko moja.
Those clean cook stoves.
It is not even the clean one. Ni ile ya makaa, ile ya kuchoma makaa. And I said, you know what? There should be a shift in how these things are done. And for me, I think the more things keep changing, the more improvements, because the young people are asking questions. Kitambo hata hatukuwa na hizo. Nobody would ask questions. And we are on our toes as leaders, and I like it. And that's why young people from wherever, especially marginalized communities, are more aggressive in terms of governance. Just observe. Young people from marginalized areas are more aggressive in how they ask their questions, in how they want things done, because they've seen the problem, they've lived through it, and they need the change.
They need the solution now.
And they need the solution.
I'm trying to think, the marginalization it's been political, economic, and throughout history. It also speaks to now a sense of belonging. Has that changed since the inception of devolution? Do the people of Wajir, Garissa, Mandera, and I know it's a lot to speak on, feel more Kenyan now? Has that shifted? And then just to add on that, are they sometimes weaponized by their politicians, almost as a bargaining tool and coming to the table, and then after that, wanasaulika?
I think there are many people who would fault the current regime, but I never voted for this regime, but I am one of the supporters now, not because they have done any golden thing or anything, but they recognized the key things that were a hindrance to our citizenship and our rights. Imagine you're a 18-year-old, 19-year-old, apply for ID, and you ask me, Umi, bring your mom's birth certificate, your dad's birth certificate, bring your uncle, and then when you bring all that, they tell you, letter, birth certificate ya mama yako.
Come on.
And then when you bring that, if you even have it, they...
You guys don't remember this story?
I remember this.
I mean,
The reminder is
it's so
triggering.
bad. I lived through it, and for me, I had a standing in how I would have achieved this very quick. My father was a teacher for 17 years. He also served as a civil servant for years. He's somebody who ran for office. So you would not even have questioned, where umetoka wapi. I finished high school, went to apply for my ID. It took me 2 years, and I was to get a scholarship. I couldn't because my ID delayed. And that's the opportunities that were being denied. And I was on the campaign team for His Excellency Honorable Raila Odinga. And when he came to Garissa, and I took the stage and I told him, thank you for coming to Garissa. I like Azimio, but on condition that you do ABCD for us, we are not voting for you. And you know, from that small engagement, he said, you know what, I need you in my campaign team. Come and tell me the truth. And we drafted a lot of proposals, even in the manifesto for the campaign. And the declaration that happened in Wajir this year was not a small declaration. I have removed vetting. I have reinstated passport office ya Garissa. Very key things for us, because those are the things that were being denied. Basic rights. For, I think, Janet, for somebody like you, would be like,
no,
but you would
hold your thought.
Yes.
Don't lose that trail of thought, please, because we have a caller from Kajiado,
Okay.
Maxwell from Kajiado also. Do you have a question or comment this morning from Heshimiwa?
Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Yeah, so first of all, I'm a father of daughters. So congratulations to the young lady who is vying for the top seat. And then just a comment or challenge, like when you get up there, do not forget where you've come from. Because the fight has always been women empowerment, of which I echo because I'm a father of daughters. So it comes naturally. But then my biggest worry is, like right now we have women reps, we have women governors, and in the same counties where we have even women governors, girls are still struggling with the most basic needs of a girl to go to school.
Right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maxwell.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Don't forget.
Don't
forget.
Don't forget. She talked about it. We interrupted a trail of thought, and then I know we are almost like a minute to time. There's also a question you had.
No, it's okay. I think maybe just finish that on the feeling of belonging. And I want to interject this as someone who has also gone through the exact same thing.
Yeah, actually,
For me,
so you are
ranting about it. I worry about the president's proclamation being more of a publicity tool and undoing actual work as opposed to being something that is born out of wanting inclusiveness for border communities.
What we need as citizens from marginalized areas, of course, everything in our needs is in the Constitution, but also the political goodwill. And that's what the president has offered. In him coming to say, I've removed vetting, I've removed... we had passport offices that were in Garissa but then closed. And I remember when they were being shut down, how our communities were vilified. How, especially the Somali communities, were branded. The ethnic profiling that was happening. It was very painful. I would meet somebody and they would tell me, hey, Mogadishu, ukoaje? I'm like, what is wrong with you? Wow. But that is profiling in itself. Even in our jokes and how we carry things as Kenyans, the profiling is very subtle. And the political goodwill that the president has given us is that these people are Kenyans. Let's give them what they need. Whether or not it is a political statement, it's something we even lacked in itself.
Yeah, let's include them.
Let's include them. And I liked that. And you see, the passport office is operational. People would travel from Mandera to come to Nairobi to get a passport. You would travel all the way from Turkana to come to Nairobi to get a passport. Now there is a regional passport office, and the president is telling you, Chukueni, I have solved your problem. Now, if you guys among yourselves decide you will not support each other, it's up to you. But Mimi,
I've given you
Heshimi,
I'm so sorry to interrupt you, because we're almost out of time. Charles Ndungo, you lost me when you've stated that you're a supporter of the current regime. Have you ever taken a bribe to pass a bill or vote in a certain way? Yes or no?
Yes.
Quick one.
After the revolution.
Quick fire.
It's my democratic right. I keep telling Kenyans.
To take a bribe?
No, to have an opinion on who you support. It's my democratic right.
Yes.
Just like any other person might support the opposition. And honestly, I've served in opposition for so long, I'm tired. I need to work with government so that I can bring all the benefits and gains to my people. With taking a bribe, I am a Muslim. Before I'm guided by the constitution, I'm guided by my Islamic values. And that's the answer I would give.
Thank you.
That's an answer right there. The lady speaks like a true leader. She takes objective look at things. Look at this kind of leadership. That's the Kikombe, who is saying, yes, I wish you well. That's Katu. Go forth and be the leader of the people of Garissa, truly deserved, and not scavengers who flourish at the expense of Wanjiku. Mheshimiwa Umulkher Harun, Umi Harun, nominated member of parliament, nominated by ODM, representing
the ODM.
The ODM, the second living oldest party in the country, has been our guest. We've been looking at Katiba and the lens of marginalization. In our next conversation, we want to talk about Katiba
from the lens of a young
youth
activist.
Yes, coming up to 8 a.m. Good morning.